Hey guys, it's
Tick.
and Tack.
Welcome back to Pikmin 4.
Yeah, Braden still is trying to beat this game. He'll probably never succeed because
How rude.
it takes so long.
What
Such
is
a
this?
long game. And I'm gonna read off a bunch of cards from his deck.
Yeah,
But
the new Hydras I just put together.
His new Hydras. His new Hydranis.
I think they slap, dude.
Probably.
That's the commander.
Yeah, I know it is. Alright. Progenitus. 10 drop, 2 of each color. Protection from everything. If it were to be put in the graveyard from anywhere, put it in, shuffle it in the library of its owners and stuff. Blah, blah. 10-10. That's his commander. How long did it take you to put this all together? Because I know you what time did you pick it up this morning?
Like 7. There was a reason I suggested 7. I was doing other stuff.
Like what? Like what?
Mostly work.
Boring.
Yep. But it needed to be done, so
Nah.
go fuck yourself,
Nah.
bitch.
Alright, Hydroid Krasis. When you cast a spell, you gain half X life and draw half X cards, round down each time. Flying Trample. Enters battlefield with X plus classic Hydra shit.
Yeah.
Iron Scale Hydra. If a creature would deal combat damage to it, prevent that damage and put a +1 counter on him. It would deal combat damage to him and prevent that damage? So he can't take combat damage.
Yeah. And then he just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
He gets a single +1 counter every time someone tries to block him, or he blocks somebody.
Yeah.
But can...
And it's prevent combat damage. So presumably he can still die to like lightning bolts and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, of course, lightning bolts. But it means he's also protected from like death touch.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Mystic Monastery, mana. Exotic Orchard, mana. Ulasht, the Hate Seed. Comes into play with a +1 counter on it for each other red creature you control, and a +1 counter for each other green creature you control. Remove a plus. Does that mean it gets a +1 counter for if you have a green and red creatures out?
Yeah.
So it gets
because
2.
They're separate triggers, yeah.
So it gets 2 for each red and green. That's good. Pay 1, remove a +1 counter from it, choose 1. It deals 1 damage to target creature, or put a 1/1 green sapperling creature to the play. Nice. It's nice. Push a land. Okay. Commander Sphere. Men. Oh, you're losing it. We're losing
a
it.
shitload of Pikmin.
We're losing.
Ah! I went to itch my face, sorry.
You probably don't need it either.
But who knows?
Yeah, well, if it starts to die, you know what I mean. We'll plug it back up. Alright, Sky Shroud Claim. Search your life for up to 2 forest cards. Put them into play, then shuffle your river. Ooh, this land is indestructible.
Gosh.
What?
Wrong button.
Oh, jeez. Look at this guy.
Wrong button.
He's just spazzing out over here. What's your issue, bro?
There it is. I figured it out.
You forgetting how
I'm
to
just
play?
Yes. I'm just gonna use a bunch of these.
Jeez. Let's see. Island for Swamp Forest Island. That's
Yeah.
so funny. Honored Hydra. Trample. Embalm 4. Exile this card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a white zombie snake Hydra with no mana cost. Embalm only as a sorcerer. Even gods have cards. That's fun. For only 4 mana, you can just bring it back.
There's another skill called Escape that I really like too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you can guess what it does.
You get away. You're free. Mossborn Hydra. Trample. Creature enters with +1 counter on it. Whenever a creature you control enters, double the number of counters on this creature. Whoa! This creature. Whenever land? Damn. That's good. That's a good
Dude, I put
ability.
a lot of good cards in there.
That's a good ability. For only 3 mana, it comes out.
Mana Gorger is also only 3 mana.
Yeah, but I mean, like, And
Manticore's fucked up.
oh yeah, that one's way better.
Yeah,
obviously.
no.
That one's
Manticore's fucking absolutely insanely good.
it trumps this one all day long. But that's still pretty good because this is almost like it, just a slightly nerfed version, which makes it still pretty good. Leyline of Mutation.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good card.
If it is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. That's nice. You may pay this much rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. That's good. That's good. That's cool. That's cool.
Again, there are a few cards that do that. I'm not going to be able to do this.
This is funny. So I asked this guy, right? Well, about the machine game. So he tells me it's like 1/4 per game, and then I'm like, how many games does it have? And he just says in the photos. But it's really funny. But because it would have taken him less effort to just tell me how many games there were,
right?
Rather than be snobby and tell me to go look at the photos that he took, because that's how many games there are. It's pretty fun. It's like, what is that? That's 7, 14 plus 5, so there's 19 games. Okay. Weird number, but alright. Weird flex. All messaging. Rhythm of the Wild. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have a right. They enter the battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's really good.
Dude, haste
Mostly
all
because
day,
of the
bro.
Fucking +1/+1 counters, because the way Hydras work.
Yeah.
And with that out, I can return them from my graveyard and they'll have +1/+1 counters still.
That's wild.
So they won't fucking die.
Pretty much.
That kind of energy.
Teferi's protection. Under your control, until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Exile it. When they're phased out, they're treated as though they don't exist. They phase in before you untap during your untap step. That's cool. Instant, like Save Grace. Birds of Paradise, mana. Fell Warstone. Had 1 mana.
Yeah.
1 mana in your mana pool. This mana may be of any color that any of opponent's lands can produce. This ability is played as an interrupt. Cool. Cool. Cyclone Rift. Return target non-land permanent you don't control. That's interesting. Overload 6. Oran Reef Hydra. Trample. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on it. If that land is a forest, put 2 +1 counters on it instead. That's good. That's good. Reliquary Tower, of course. Poluk Ranos Unchained. There's battle with 6 +1 counters on it. It escapes with 12 +1 counters on it instead. Okay. If damage would be dealt to it while it has a +1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove that many +1 counters from it. If it's a creature, escape 6. Exile 6 other cards from your graveyard. Okay. So is escape just a spell?
Yeah,
You can cast from your hand instead?
No, you have to cast it from the graveyard. And that's why it's escaping.
So okay, so once you cast it from your graveyard, you have to exile 6 other cards from your graveyard, and you get to bring it back.
Yeah.
Do you have to exile 6 in order for it to be brought back?
I think it's an additional cost.
Okay. So yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Arcane Signet, mana. Bow of Nylea. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. That's good. Pay 2, tap it. 2. Put a +1 counter on target creature, or Bow of Nylea deals 2 damage to target creature with flying. Or you gain 3 life, or put up to 4 target cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library and anywhere. Nice. Blasphemous Act.
Hell yeah.
Costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. It deals 13 damage to each creature. It's so fun.
Ideally, I'd be dealing 13 damage to something that's so fucking big 13 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
While killing all of your stuff.
Yeah, ideally your stuff is so big, it's fine. Or at least some of your stuff is so big. It's good. It's not going to bother you bothered by it. Gyrus, Waker of Corpses. Enters the battlefield with a ++ counter on it equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. Okay. Duh. Yes. That feels like a duh moment. When it attacks, you may exile a target creature card with lesser power from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, and that's tapped and attacking. While the token exile. Wait. If you do,
I did it.
Oh, nice.
Second try, baby.
If you do exile it, create a token that's a copy of that card, and that's tapped and attacking. Exile the token at the end of the combat. Yeah, that's not gonna work with all of them. All your Hydras.
It's not gonna work with most of my Hydras.
Yeah, it'll work with the ones that come in with counters equal to like like something you have on the board.
Yeah.
Or if
Which
you have
are rare.
Yeah, or if you have the ones that where a creature enters the battlefield, you put a +1 counter on it immediately.
Yeah.
Because then they'll come out as one.
I was thinking of having like Banner of Kinship and Coat of Arms in there.
Okay.
Because then they'd come out and they would technically have 0 power, but they would be getting +1/+1, so they wouldn't die. Right.
Yeah.
But then if you fucking dropped those, my Banner of Kinship or my Coat of Arms, they would just pass away.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know. Fist of Suns. You may pay this much rather than pay the mana cost for your spells you choose. Cool. Briar Hydra. Trample. It deals combat damage to a player. Put a X +1 counter on the target creature you control, where X is the number of basic land types and lands you control. Basic land types?
Yeah.
So 0?
Yeah, it'll always be 0.
So it's just a 6-drop, 6/6 trample Hydra. Yeah. Is that what you thought?
It's just Hydra.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I mean,
but like, I feel like, did you not realize that, or did you just? Like,
no, I think I put him in there and then decided later to not have any basics.
That's fair.
So.
Yeah, 'cause right now he just don't do nothing.
Also, fucking someone who will remain named Zane. He tried to tell me that freaking Blood Moon overrides Dryad of the Elysian Grove if Blood Moon was cast more recently.
What's Blood Moon do?
It just turns all non-basic lands into mountains.
So it turns
But
it
Dryad
off.
of the Elysian Grove, all lands you control can be tapped for any color.
Then wouldn't it just work?
Yeah, it wouldn't affect me at all.
It doesn't matter if they're mountains because they
Exactly.
still tap for any mana.
But he was saying that that's not how it works. They just become mountains now. I'm like, that's not how that works. This is just a passive thing. That it's not a triggered ability. It's just a thing that exists forever.
Well, because just because it's a mountain doesn't mean it can't be tapped for
Land.
any color. Because it's not. Because Elysian Grove.
Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Yeah, Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Yeah.
That's not changing what the land is.
Right.
It's just saying that it can be tapped for other mana types.
Exactly.
So regardless of what another card turns that land into, it can still be tapped
Right.
for a different color. Because it's just a land at the end of the day. Now, if you had a card that turned that land into a creature and it was no longer a land, then it couldn't be tapped for mana. So then Elysian Grove wouldn't work. But that's an obvious. That's like just obvious.
Right.
So I don't know. I think he's just wrong. That doesn't make any sense.
But according to Bree, he also likes to do stuff so he has the advantage in essentially everything.
He's a cheater.
Basically.
He's a cheater.
He likes to manipulate the stacks so it benefits him.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. It doesn't really work because the stack in that sense doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm like, neither of those cards interact with the stack.
Yeah, they don't. They're just passive things.
Yeah.
Where the card is a mountain and it also taps for whatever color you want.
Yeah.
So. Command Tower.
Yeah, Command Tower.
Commandy.
Oh, that's a good card.
It's a solid.
It's very solid. It's
Something
usually a go-to.
I mean, you got it. It just works. Yeah, Dryad of the Elysian Grove. You may play an additional land. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types.
Yeah.
So that must have been why he was saying that. Because it's like,
So
Yeah, but I know it still counts. He's still wrong.
yeah,
But I think that's why he was trying to make it sound legit, because of the way it's phrased on this card.
right.
Because it doesn't just say your lands tap for mana; it says they are
Every basic land
type in addition to their other types.
Which works even less against his case.
Yeah, because it still says they're mountains,
Yeah.
and the other one says they're mountains, and this one says they're mountains as well as every other type, because of the way it's phrased.
Come on, bitch.
That just doesn't make this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because this one literally it nullifies it of what he said just by adding in addition to their other types.
Exactly.
So it's just adding the fact that it's also a mountain onto what this also does. Because it's like, if it's already being a mountain from something else, well, it's already that. So in addition to that, it can do other things.
Yeah, and that's why it's ridiculous.
Also, every basic land type, in addition to other types, means that if you have this card out, I believe that Hydra
It definitely would.
Does take effect. Because it
Yeah.
says whenever basic land, you know how many basic lands you control? Then that means that with this card out,
Well, and
all
it's
your lands
types
are basic.
between basic lands I control, right?
I don't know yet.
Because if so, then that it'll get triggered by every single, or by like a single lane. You know.
Let's see. When it deals combat damage to a player, put X plus those counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Basic land type. So, and this one just says,
So it would
land
be,
you control are every basic land type.
Yeah,
which
and
means
so
that
one land would trigger that Hydra.
would trigger it 5 times. Is that something? Is it 5? Is it
It would be
4 colors.
It would be +5/+5.
Yeah, for every land.
Yeah, it would be 1 +1 +1 counter.
No, it'd be 5.
Yeah, because it says basic land types, right?
Yeah, but this is it.
And
But this
so-
says it's every basic land type,
Right.
which means it's
It
saying
wouldn't trigger 5 times. It would trigger once for each basic land type or basic land color.
I don't feel like if you had one forest out,
Yeah.
and then you had dryad out, that forest is now a forest, mountain, plains, swamp, and island. Right?
Yeah.
So this card says where X is the number of basic land types.
Because it says types.
So it's only counting.
The types. It's not counting individual lands. It's counting
yeah.
the types of land.
So types. So, but you would have. So you get
But
5 though.
one land would trigger all 5 of those.
Yeah. So it would get
Yeah.
5 every time it did combat damage to a player, or like it could give 5 to somebody else
Yeah.
every time if you have dryad out. So I think that counts.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's not completely useless. Yeah. Dryad is a little easy. What a silly card. What a silly little
It's a
boy.
good card. And it's only a 3-drop.
It is. How much does it cost to buy one of those? I feel like they're expensive. Just
It's
because.
like $15.
That's pretty good though for a single card.
Yeah. Well, and I was wrong. The most expensive card is 60.
That's an expensive card.
Yeah. But like, it does some fuck shit or something.
Some fuck shit.
Yeah. It's really good. It's not unfairly 60.
Right. So funny. I'm getting a call from Connor Schmidt.
Oh wow.
That's all. How about you? Hello, sir. I know, you freaking left me dry and hanging. Yep, stop it. Oh, is that all? You guys had? Is it one of those double weekends? God damn. Jeez. Potentially. Oh, we're good. We're just recording. You're gonna miss out on playing Magic with us, maybe.
Yeah. I brought my Hydros.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, sounds good. Okay, bye-bye. His entire family passed away.
I believe it.
No. Something, I don't know what fucking.
You didn't even pay attention?
No, he's started going back to his services, right?
Yeah.
But apparently this weekend and next weekend, they're having Saturday and Sunday services. So he's going to his service again tomorrow.
Sucks for that idiot.
And so he won't be here next weekend either.
That's what you get for religion, idiot.
I know, how dare he. So,
Sometimes I question on whether or not I'm a bad person. And then I think really hard about it. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Oh, whoops. No. Look at you carrying that. Shoot, dang it.
shoot Dan. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy this machine from this guy, right? And then I'm going to ask around bars and be like, hey,
Yeah.
can I put this machine here?
Just fucking ask brothers.
Be like, hey guys, can I just put this machine in here? It's $0.25 per play. It's just funny, haha. It's just funny, haha. It's like the experience.
Yeah.
You play for the experience, and I'll check it like once every month or something.
I can command OG to just come here.
You just do that.
Yeah, it just works.
All right.
Pretty fucking sick.
Gargo's Vicious Watcher. Vigilance. Hydro spells you cast cost 4 less to cast. 4 colorless. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell, Gargo's Vicious Watcher fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Okay. Interesting. Did you want to just record the rest of Pikmin tonight and then save souls for tomorrow?
Yeah, we can do that.
That way we can get some magical stuff in tonight.
Yeah, we can do that.
Good.
Sounds good.
Fucking better be good with it. Touch you in your sleep. Farseek. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card. Put on into play tapped, then shuffle your Wibberry. Annular Vigor. Nothing enters tapped. Uh-huh.
Yep. Well, that's like a big reason that I was able to do a bunch of non-basics.
Yeah, pretty much. Dude, you can't underestimate the Annular Vigor. It's freaking crazy.
Well, it's a 1-drop.
It's a 1-drop and nothing comes in tapped. Are you crazy,
Yeah.
bro?
I could get it and a soul ring out first turn.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
So,
Heroic Intervention. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until return.
that's one of those cards that I could definitely drop very easily if need be.
Yeah, true.
So,
True. Alright, Ruinous Ultimatum.
yes.
That's a lot of freaking mana.
Dude, the ultimatums are so cool.
Destroy all non-land permanents your opponent's control. Yep, that's pretty good.
There's a lot of ultimatums as well, and they all do different kind of things. So
Yeah.
it's all similar.
They're all similar. Mist Cutter Hydra.
Yeah, this cutter's alright.
Can't be countered. Haste, protection from blue. Ends with explosive counter. Yeah, it's only, it's a pretty basic Hydra. You pay 1 mana,
Yeah.
and an X is the rest, and it just becomes that strong.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic, but it literally just embodies.
But then
The
with
Hydra.
fucking Colonian Hydra, all my Hydras go nuts. So
It's true. They go.
Colonian
fucking-
Hydra's super fucked.
Feels fucking
Like
crazy.
Colonian Hydra's fucking brokey.
It's good.
Like, full on bullshit.
Nyxborn Hydra. Bestow. Okay. Reach, trample, ends with explosive counters. A creature, enchanted creature gets +X, or +1 for each +1 counter on it, and has reach and trample. Trampy. 3 visits. Search your library for a forest card, put the card forest into play, show the library. Oh, it doesn't even come in tapped? Nice. That's awesome.
Well, it will if it's like a
If it's a tap card, yeah.
yeah.
Can things on our battlefield double tapped? Upside down?
No, those are called stun counters, and that's not a thing. Not on land, at least.
It's kind of funny. Apex Devastator. Cascade, 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 Cascade.
Apex Devastator is so good.
When you cast a spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards down your library in a random order. Multiple instances of Cascade, each trigger separately, of course. So it comes out with 4 instances of Cascade, which means you're playing 4 other creatures. As soon as, which is really good because you're paying 10 mana for a 10/10. Which means you're paying 10 mana for a 10/10 and then 4 other creatures.
I'm paying 5 mana for a 10/10.
Oh, yeah, you're paying
with
5
quadruple Cascade.
That's freaking that's awesome. That's a goodie. That's a goodie.
Ideally, I'm paying 5 mana.
Yeah, ideally. But, like, likely chance of you getting this card and not at least one of the other ones that you have that make it cost only 5.
And there are 3 or 4 of those in the whole deck.
Exactly. So I mean, odds are pretty good. So, alright. Ristic Study.
Yeah, Ristic Study.
Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays one. That's good. That's just a good one to have out.
Yeah, I have Smothering Tithe in there too.
That's wild. That's just good. Mana Gorger Hydra. Trample.
Love Mana Gorger Hydra.
Yep. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a +1 counter on it. Just can't beat Mana Gorger Hydra. Especially like just in a multi-person game where it's just like a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Dude, he fucking pops off quick.
He really does.
You get big. Nessian Wild's Ravager. Tribute 6. Enters the battlefield. If tribute wasn't paid, you may have it fight another target. Nice. Chromatic Lantern. Lands you control have tap. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Tap it. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Yep. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise!
Like I said, if I have every mana rock to my availability out, and then all of my mana plus an enchantment that increases how much mana I get from each thing I tap, I can. It's a theoretical amount. The max is 65 landed.
Jeez.
Which is just an unhinged number.
That's a lot of fucking land.
That's so much land.
It's too much, one could say. No. One could say it's too much. One could say too much. One could say too much. Too much.
No cost.
Too much. Alright, Joda Archmage Eternal. Flying. You may pay this much rather than pay the mana cost of spells you cast. See, there's another one. Right there. Primordial Hydra. And with X plus counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of plus counters on it. It has trample as long as that's rough too. It comes out and just fucking doubles because you can drop that on your 3rd turn as a 1/1
for like nothing.
And it gets big quick.
Yeah, because it's every turn he doubles.
Yeah, it's wild. Fido High Hydra.
High Hydra?
Thought. If damage would be dealt to it, put that many plus 1 counters on it instead. So it doesn't die to damage.
Of any kind. -1/-1 counters.
Yeah, -1 we get it. But so it just doesn't die though. Like you can't combat damage it, and you can't burn it, because it would just get that many plus 1 counters instead of the damage. So yeah, but you're paying like 5 mana for a 1/1. So you know, fair enough.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things that's like, yeah, it's a 1/1, but I can also just bolt it if I really felt like it.
Exactly. Well, it comes out, but then it's like, it's pretty much got indestructible. But
it's actually better than indestructible.
It is, because it gets bigger.
Yeah.
It's got indestructible and it gets bigger every time.
So unless you're doing exclusively like -1/-1 counters and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like
or destroy.
Exclusively infect.
Yeah, that or destroy, because technically destroy would just kill it.
Right.
But yeah, if you're just trying to kill it with burn or like blocking it, then yeah. But also he's a good blocker because you're gonna block with him every time you can, because he can't be killed by block damage, and so he would just get stronger.
You're gonna lose 5 dudes probably.
No. Let's see. Miria's Wake. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool. Okay, so you just double the amount of mana that land's producing.
and it's of that land that it did produce.
Yeah, so it's
so
like
if I
two
tap
greens.
one of my green, red, blues for a green, I get 2 greens. I don't
Yeah.
get a green and a red.
Yeah, you can't choose, but you get the double, which is really what matters.
It's fine. It's 5 Pikmin.
It's the end, bro. It's the end of the episode.
And perfect timing.
I know. Freaking, what are the odds, brah? What are the odds?
That's one thing I like about Hydras. It's like I can work on a deck that doesn't interact with itself too much beyond like fetching land and mana ramp kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because the way Hydras just kind of are.
True. Look at all those goodies you found.
I guess I should put something in there that does like proliferate, but
Yeah, it's not the big deal.
yeah, but imagine if I had a thing that like every time it dealt combat damage it would proliferate. Right? Which those trigger separately the same way Cascade does.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
And so
Jeez.
it's like, oh, I just dealt damage to you for 1, and now this 2/2 becomes an 8/8.
It's kind of funny.
And then it's Primordial Hydra, so he doubles again.
Yeah, he just gets freaking
And so now he's a
bruised,
16/16.
God, it's so funny.
That's the kind of shit I'm into.
Alright, well, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing.
Definitely go check out our other content.
Till next time, peace out.
Bye-bye.